If there's one thing that service members are known for doing really, really poorly, it's buying cars. In this video, I'm going to tell you what cars hold their value the best, how to buy a car for less than it's actually worth, and even some pointers to avoid expensive financing terms. Do not click off this video if you want to learn how I've made money on the last few cars I've owned. And after you've clicked that little subscribe button to join our awesome community. When you drive through the gate of most military installations, you are greeted with an array of fancy sports cars, decked out trucks, overbuilt Jeeps. For whatever reason, service members appear to have no problem buying overpriced new vehicles and paying too much interest in the process. When paying 20% interest on a Mustang is a commonly accepted joke, it becomes very clear that our young service members are not buying cars well. Now, buying a car in the military should not be this hard. We need to stop wasting half our paychecks on cars and understand how to purchase intelligently. This might surprise you, but I have never bought a new car. And I know some people just cringed when I said that. Full disclosure, I have purchased a new motorcycle, but I think motorcycles are a little bit different. I don't really like owning them used. I don't plan on buying a new car anytime soon, or ever. Now, there are several reasons for this, but the biggest one is the depreciation. New cars drop almost 10% in value the moment you drive off the lot. You're paying for marketing, sales commissions, dealership fees, transporting the vehicle to the dealership when you buy a new car. Those costs don't count towards the value of the car. So as soon as you drive off the lot, no matter how gangster you look, the value of these expenses is just lost forever. Now, cars depreciate an average of 60% by the time they are 5 years old. To put that in perspective, the car you buy for $50,000 will only be worth $20,000 5 years later. Also, let's not forget that you are paying interest on that payment as well. Car insurance is more expensive on new cars than it is on older models as well. Luckily, some vehicles hold their value better than this average. And if you insist on buying a new car, please look for one of these vehicles in order to mitigate your losses. No, you will not eliminate the losses. The car will depreciate and you will lose money. Yes, you will lose money. I had a Marine comment the other day about how he made $3,000 when he sold his 3-year-old car. He stated this because he sold it for $3,000 more than what he still owed on the auto loan. I was the nice asshole who got to point out that he had actually lost $20,000 since he purchased the vehicle, not including the interest payments. He wasn't very happy with me. Now, the 3 categories that hold their value the best in order are pickup trucks, SUVs, and cars. I personally wouldn't have guessed that pickups hold their value better than cars, but I guess it makes sense when you think about it. Pickups serve a purpose and they're utility vehicles, and they're often work vehicles, as opposed to just commuter vehicles, which doesn't really hold much of an actual tangible value. Obviously, vans didn't make the list because I don't know anybody who takes care of their van. They either rack up huge amount of mileage or they get trashed by kids. And sports cars are just their own category. Now, here's some brands that hold their value well. Toyota and Lexus, Subaru, Jeep, Honda, Tesla, and as a bonus brand, you can't go wrong with the smash the like button car, so smash that like button. Toyota has long been the king of retaining value. For as long as I can remember, Toyota has always had the highest resale value of any automotive brand. I believe this is due to the long-standing reliability they've been able to maintain. Subaru and Jeep are both quality vehicles, but also have a cult-like following of rally and off-road hobbyists. I didn't actually see Tesla on many of these lists, but I think that's just because of how new they are. Everything I've read and seen indicates that Teslas will actually hold their value very well. One article I read claimed that Tesla holds its value twice as well as other car manufacturers and 3 times as well as other electric cars. No, this article was not published by Tesla, so maybe there's some truth to it, but the data just wasn't there to confirm it. Some cars that hold their value really well: Jeep Wrangler, Toyota Tacoma, Toyota Tundra, GMC Sierra, Toyota 4Runner, Subaru Impreza, Toyota Corollas. Now, the Jeep Wrangler and Jeep Wrangler Unlimited were on several lists as the cars that held value the best. And this is great news because service members, especially Marines, seem to love buying Jeep Wranglers and spending tons of money modifying them. And as you can see, Toyota is dominating this list as well. They have made some pretty solid vehicles over the years. However, even the best of these was still only worth 72% of its purchase price after 5 years. which means that they lost over 5% annually. Now, there's a couple ways to help your car retain value. You can complete the scheduled maintenance. Sticking to all scheduled maintenance will give people a warm and fuzzy feeling when they look at buying your vehicle. This will show that you were proactive with your vehicle rather than driving it as hard as possible between routine upkeep. Also, make sure you keep all of the service records. If you don't keep all the service records, how does anybody know it was actually completed? Sure, they could just take your word on it, but that's easier said than done these days. Document everything you've done to the vehicle and keep all of the records. I simply throw these documents in a folder beneath my insurance and registration in the glove box. That way it's always right there. Now, make sure you clean the car in and out. Keep the inside of your vehicle clean. Almost nothing destroys the value of a car more than a filthy interior, and it's gross. I get my car detailed at least once a month in order to keep it in good order. I like to get the carpet shampooed and any leather treated and the dash protected against wear and tear. It's also best to keep the vehicle in the garage if possible, especially if you live somewhere like Hawaii where everything rusts. The less exposure your car has to the elements, the better. A good coat of wax on the car will keep the paint in good condition and the car clean. The bottom line is, don't be a pig and keep your car presentable. You could add some more features. People spend a lot of money upgrading their vehicles. They put nice wheels on it. Maybe they upgrade engine performance, add custom lighting, and all sorts of other modifications. Now, this can add value to the car, but generally it doesn't add as much value as the parts and installation cost to add to the vehicle. So don't over-modify your vehicle to the point where you are throwing more money at it than you'll ever get back. I have been very guilty of this, but at least my car had already depreciated before I purchased it, so I wasn't still losing value that quickly. I loved my S2000, but even though these modifications were a blast and I had a ton of fun in that car, they didn't add much value. On the website, there's a table that depicts new cars versus old cars, but I'm gonna just walk you through this verbally. So if you want a car with the cool factor and that appeals to emotion and status, buy a new one. But if you want a car that appeals to logic and finances, it doesn't depreciate as much, has lower maintenance, lower insurance, and a much lower total cost of ownership, buy a used car. Don't buy a new car. Here is my favorite military car buying strategy. When I purchase a vehicle, I aim for a vehicle that is 5 to 10 years old. That way, it's already lost 60 to 70% of its value, and it really won't depreciate as much anymore because it's kind of bottomed out. It's still going to depreciate, but not as much. I narrow this search to 2 or 3 type of cars, and I search on Craigslist and Facebook Marketplace for them. If you can find the vehicle from a private seller, you'll get a discount. It's definitely going to be cheaper. And you can negotiate the price down a little bit and potentially buy it under Kelley Blue Book value. I have purchased my last 3 cars under Blue Book value, and my most recent one I purchased for $10,900 when Kelley Blue Book said it was worth $14,000. Yeah, $3,100 less than it was worth. I also look for vehicles that are known to be capable of consistently reaching well over 200,000 miles. My current vehicle is a Volkswagen Jetta turbo diesel, which is known to be able to roll over the 500,000 mile mark. I like a car that can achieve high mileage because that's an indicator of quality. And also a car that can drive for 500,000 miles is sure to hold its value more than a car that will barely make it 150,000 miles in one piece because it'll last longer. And finally, I look at gas mileage, insurability, and maintenance costs. I want to know that the vehicle has been taken care of and that the total cost of ownership is low. Now, my diesel Jetta gets 40 to 45 miles a gallon average and would higher if I stayed on the highway, and it has relatively low insurance costs. Now, the maintenance on it is a little pricey because it's a Volkswagen, and honestly, that probably doesn't make them the most affordable vehicles, but they're very reliable and they're still quite a comfortable car, even though they're mostly affordable. Finally, I want to look through the service records in order to determine how well this car was taken care of. I want to ensure there are no recurring issues with the vehicles and verify that it's not a lemon. A lemon, for those of you who don't know, is a car that just has a ton of unexplained maintenance issues. Sometimes the car just doesn't come off the assembly line as well put together as the rest of the vehicles. Here are some good practices for buying a car in the military. As with real estate investing, the profit is made when you buy. Don't spend more money than you need to on a liability that depreciates very quickly. You might as well be just throwing all this money away, and I'll take it if you're gonna do that. Shop around. Rule number 1 for saving money on virtually anything is shop around. Look on Craigslist, Facebook Marketplace, and car dealerships to find a good vehicle. If you find a great price, go look at that car first, and then you can use those prices to haggle the other sellers down, or just purchase the cheaper vehicle if you don't want to deal with that. Either way, don't buy the first vehicle you look at without at least comparing the costs of other vehicles. Purchase price over monthly payment. Determine the maximum purchase price you can afford to pay. Don't look at a monthly payment. If you decide on a monthly payment amount, the lender might extend the length of the loan to drop the monthly payment into your range. That sounds great until you realize that you'll end up paying thousands more over the course of the loan in interest, while the car is still losing value. Set a maximum all-in price that you're willing to purchase at, and do not go over that budget no matter what. Negotiate. Everything is negotiable. You should never pay full sticker price at a dealership. There is always a buffer built in. And car dealerships can easily take some of that price off. If they tell you no, just get up and walk out of the dealership. I bet you that they will stop you and agree to take some money off the purchase price. Now, don't mention your trade-in before you walk in. If you mention that you have a trade-in, they may use that against you. They could say, we'll drop the price to $20,000 minus your trade-in, which makes it $18,000. Whereas if you hadn't mentioned the trade-in, they might have agreed to drop the price to $18,000 initially, and then you can drop the price even more with the value of the trade-in. That is smart negotiating. Finance elsewhere. Don't accept financing from the dealership as the best choice. There's a really good chance that you could do better by financing elsewhere. Navy Federal and USAA have both given me very solid interest rates on auto loans, like less than 3%. LendingTree and other personal loan options are also nice because they won't need to deal with the lien holder crap at the DMV after purchasing the vehicle. You'll get to hold the title right away, and then you just pay off the personal loan. Now, the rates might not be quite as competitive, but they're probably still better or just as good as what you might get at the dealership. Do not buy the extended warranty. If it comes with a factory warranty, that's probably fine. Extended warranties are picky and don't cover as much as you would like. These are provided as an upsell for dealerships, and they're not usually worth the added cost to you. And say no to add-ons. You don't need the fancy roof rack, the mud flaps, or trunk organizer from the dealership. All of these add-ons can be purchased for less money online. Dealerships have marked up these items, and you will be paying top dollar unnecessarily for them. Military car buying made simple. The bottom line is this: don't get suckered into spending half your damn paycheck on a V6 Mustang with GT stickers or badges. Don't spend as much as you possibly can on a vehicle. It's not that important. Your best bet is to buy a vehicle that you can afford to buy in cash. If you're going to take out a loan, make sure the car has already lost most of its value, it's been well maintained, has a track record for being reliable, and you're taking out good financing. Automobiles are one of the worst purchases you can make, the worst. And they're the fastest way to undercut your savings gap. The amount of money you spend on your car can add up very quickly. And a 20-year-old Corolla will accomplish the same job as a brand new Ferrari. Just might not look as sexy doing it. I'm okay with looking a little bit less sexy driving now if it means that I'll be financially free years earlier. Besides, that means I can buy an even nicer car later. That's actually why I justified selling my S2000, because I'm gonna reinvest all that money and I'm gonna be able to buy a much nicer car down the road. Remember, vehicles depreciate extremely fast and it will suck your net worth down the drain. Now subscribe if you like this video, and welcome to the community, guys.